Yeah, not only did we take 2 weeks off, but we only did one episode the last time we did sit down. I guess slacking.
We are slacking.
We like the Pacers are resting up for the postseason.
And that's true. That's true.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a long season.
We just want everybody healthy, or as healthy as we can be at our decrepit age.
Yeah, so just prepare to.
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet jerk. I put some shoes on.
That train is off the track.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to. Just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You're listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Very semi-weekly at this point. This is episode 753. Coming to you from the high school home of Jameson Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm the Dr. Jason Triplett. This show, we're going to discuss a 7-4 stretch of basketball for the Pacers, which is so many games that I'm not going to list them off now, because we'll do that in a second. Joining me this week are two of our analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles. It's John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Long time no see, no listen, no talkie. It's good to see you guys.
Indeed. And from Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
How's it going? You got an old script there, buddy. I'm in Tacoma now.
Oh my gosh, let me update this right now. Tacoma, Washington.
Shout out Grit City.
Nice.
Is Tacoma the land that spring forgot? Is that what it is? How is it there right now?
I mean, you don't have to ask. It is 45 and rainy.
Okay, that's what I thought. That was my guess.
Unlike here, where it's 75 and sunny one day and then 30 and snowing the next. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah, everything's fine.
At least no tornadoes. Before we start the show, just want to remind listeners they can support the longest running Pacers podcast by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables to support our show for as little as $1 a month. And you can chip in more if you like. And yes, that streak still counts even if we do like one pod a month. Doesn't matter. All right. Yes, the last time we talked to you folks, we had wrapped up a stretch of basketball that ended with a win against Chicago. Since then, the Pacers have played 11 games, so we'll go through them quickly. First, they beat Houston at home. Then they went on a 3-game road stretch where they impressively, in a way, dropped games to Atlanta, and Chicago. Came back home to beat Milwaukee in a thriller, a national TV thriller, in which Tyrese Halliburton broke the internet briefly. Then went back out on the road, beat Philadelphia, lost to those Bucks, and then beat Minnesota in one of the wildest games we've seen in a while. Then came back home to beat Dallas, Brooklyn, and Brooklyn. All of those games kind of barn burners. A couple OTs in there. But we are riding a 4-game win streak as it stands and are in 4th place with a full game lead over the Milwaukee Bucks at this point. 41-29. We are guaranteed a non-losing season at this point. Colson, where do you want to start in this stretch of basketball and give your impressions of where the team is at or what your emotions were like during this roller coaster.
This is a roller coaster. I mean, I feel this has been a fairly abusive stretch. I feel like. I mean, so I hit the panic button after the Bulls loss. You got to figure out a way to split. We always lose at Chicago one game, no big deal. But you got to figure a way to split against the Hawks. We're not going to get a 50 wins this season because we can't have a winning record against the Hawks and Charlotte, and Toronto. Like if you give me one more win to Atlanta, Charlotte, and Toronto, we're on a pace for 50 wins, and probably in the third seed. Actually, we'd be in the third seed right now. That's, I think, the sign of, I guess, a young team. I feel like Pascal and should know better. I don't know. Maybe not. It's just really rough, and I think we're gonna regret those losses. I already do. And then we go on this incredible streak of insane wins. You mentioned Halliburton's running, screaming, running to the left, shooting to the right, 3-pointer, 4-point play to beat the Bucks. Absolutely incredible. That game seemed like we were dead in the water. This Minnesota game, we were without our top 6 scorers, and we're just playing the bench, and we got into overtime and won in Minnesota against a team who had not lost all March, with the hottest team in the NBA. And then another wild win. It took a 3-pointer from Aaron Nimhard to from way up top to beat the Mavericks. Overtime against the Nets, and then again with the Nets last night. It was like, why is this close? Like, how did this happen? It ended up being like a 2-point game down the stretch. So
we put that game away 3 different times.
We did. I was like, okay, I guess I'm done here. We're good. And then suddenly it was a 2-point game. I'm like, oh my god, what happened? But I guess it's been fun as a fan. But I think what I mean is abusive is this isn't the sign of a team that's dominant. It's the sign of a team that's pretty good in the clutch, but man, losing to Atlanta and Chicago and then eking these games out against the Nets, who we should be beating, the Mavs we should be beating. Splitting with the Bucks is great, but barely. It doesn't show. We're not showing. I don't feel like we're dominating this stretch, even though we went 7-4. And I want to be playing my best basketball going into the playoffs, and I just don't think we are. We look sloppy. We've been down by 20 in most of these games. I love the resilience. It's been real fun, but it's disturbing to me how not up to the playoff task we are at this moment.
Well, the podcast prediction of the month goes to Jason Triplett. I am pretty sure that you predicted we were going to go 1-2 with a win against Houston and 2 losses against Atlanta, which made me laugh out loud. And then I watched it happen.
And it wasn't funny.
It was not funny at all anymore. So way to have your finger on the pulse. And shame on the Pacers for making that come true. Yeah. I mean, I agree. We're not a dominant team. We're a hell of an exciting team.
Yeah, we are.
There are a lot of things that we're doing better. We continue to play pretty scrappy D. We're in the middle of the league now. I think 15th in total defense for the season. We've crawled up from 25, 27, wherever we were at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Which is
which
a
we're
huge
playing
deal.
very good D. Yeah.
Yep. There's definitely, in addition to just not putting our foot on the throat, there's also been some kind of boneheaded stuff that happened. Nemhard keeps getting tossed from games. He's just like,
he does.
He's like needs a night off, so he just calls it in the third quarter. Carlisle cracked me up. He was like, in his post game, he was like, "Let me get the tease. I'm really good at it." He's like, "I led the league last year." You gotta leave that to me.
That's funny.
And I was
Yeah,
also questioning the decision to bring Halliburton back in that second Brooklyn game, just because the first one was damn chippy, and I just, those guys, this is like a semi-professional basketball team. I was a little nervous even having that guy out there, but luckily he got through unscathed.
Yeah, I mean, it looked smart after 3 quarters, I guess, but then, the Pacers kind of fell apart in the fourth. I mean, but you bring up a good point about Halliburton being out. To assuage your concerns to some degree, Colson, Halliburton's missed a good chunk of basketball here in this stretch, which I think explains a lot of the up and downness. So he missed all 3 of those games. The infamous back-to-back loss away at Atlanta and at Chicago. He came back for the Milwaukee game, but then missed the Minnesota game later, the Dallas game, and the first Brooklyn game. So those were all, especially that Dallas and Brooklyn game, were games that you hope are tidy wins for this point for a team that's looking to be a home playoff seed against a team that should be losing a lot of games in the Brooklyn Nets. And that certainly explains a lot of the
first
sloppiness,
rounders
I think,
in the
that we're
next
seeing.
couple of years.
Yeah. And I think I made a comment in the Slack at one point that you pull one. This team is so well balanced at some level, and we're super deep. However, if you pull one of those little Jenga sticks out, the tower gets suddenly very wobbly. The change in rotations have never been all year long a thing that's been really smooth. We struggled in that stretch big time. I mean, without big players like Nembhard and Nesmith, but even once Nembhard came back, it was kind of a struggle because the rotations were off, and if somebody else missed a game, it was off. If McConnell misses a game, all of a sudden our second unit is aimless.
Right.
We
got Ben Shepherd running the point,
Right.
And God bless him, but it's asking him a lot.
Yeah, and there was the game where they didn't want to use Quentin Jackson because he was approaching his 50-game threshold or something like that. So Ray J. Dennis had to get in the game and look bewildered for 5 minutes and then immediately get benched. So it's something I think we need to look at going forward. But the Minnesota game to me was just epic.
Was that is so much fun as a fan to watch these guys? I mean, some guys I hadn't even heard of.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, I was home with the family, and Joey came over to watch the game, and we're looking at it ahead of time. And we're like, oh yeah, okay, so we're missing 4/5 of our starting lineup. This is not going to be pretty, but thanks for coming over. At least we'll get to hang out. And then it ends up being just a wildly entertaining game, and we win in a very intimidating environment, if you will. Minnesota had been playing super well, had won I think 8 or 9 straight or something like that. Things got chippy. You mentioned Nembhard got ejected. The reason for that is that Rudy Gobert basically did a Goldberg spear in his head, and Nembhard responded by throwing the basketball at Gobert, and it was his second tech because he had picked up one mysterious one 5 minutes into the game.
I don't blame him for the second one. The first one I was scratching my head about because
exactly.
I don't know what he said, but he pissed somebody off.
Yeah,
the second one's automatic.
Yeah.
But he did the right thing. The only thing he did wrong was he didn't hit him in the head.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that Milwaukee loss at Milwaukee was a tough one, but what did Giannis went 14 to 15 or something like that in the game, and
14 to 19, 10 and 7.
Yeah, and not wanting to let anything go. Knew the importance of that game as far as tiebreakers and standings went. Went 6 of 6 from the line.
Yeah. Damian was hitting from all over the damn place.
Yeah, but I thought the Pacers played relatively well in that game. It was close throughout.
Yeah, we did. It's just,
Had a punter's chance to win it at the end,
Yeah, it was a really good effort, but that is almost beating a team twice in a row, right? The only thing between those two games was that Minnesota game, which took a heck of a lot out of us. Going back to that game, how about Obi Toppin in that one? Career high 34, 10 rebounds, just put the team on his back.
Well, yeah, and 2 huge 3-pointers, and the second one reminiscent
7 to 10
of Tyrese Halliburton's
the Ty's
shot.
fall away.
That broke the internet. I mean, it was just man. Speaking of Obi Toppin, did you see the 360 dunk last night?
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's what I would have done if it were me.
So Tyrese just lobs it to him, and he's got an open court, and so he just 360 dunked it. It was freaking amazing.
Yeah, in-game 360
In-game
dunk.
360 dunk.
Nice.
Just absolutely crazy. He's so good. And played with a lot of energy and fire. He looked around and said, okay, my entire starters are out. Ben Matherin, who was going to take us to the promised land, now injured. Or no, I'm now fouled out. And it's just me and TJ. TJ got the layup that got him to overtime, and then Toppin was like, I'll just hit all the threes now. We're good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Really an incredible showing. It was.
I was a little nervous about boy, names are good on me right now.
Well, if you're talking about the Mavericks or the Brooklyn games, there's a reason for that, because I've never heard of any of those people.
Shout out to all those guys, whoever they were.
Those guys.
There's a Watson in there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we got a Watson.
At one point in I think it was in the second Nets game after Tyrese came up, we were winning by 2 points, and the money line was like plus $750 in Brooklyn and like negative 1,600 on us. I was like, it was like a 2-point game. Jesus.
They will figure out how to lose. Don't worry.
They're going to try, and they kept trying to win. I was
I
like,
know.
they're going to have to bench the coach. And
they
guys are
play
trying
hard.
too hard.
Yeah, that's play hard.
Yeah, Watford is not my friend.
Oh, Watford.
Watford. God.
Watford.
God.
And he was still talking trash with Halliburton after the game.
Yeah. Oh, they kept talking. Like, hey, did you notice all the coaches like kind of came up and like, we're not going to break this up. We're just going to stand here.
Right here. We're going to make a wall of coaches. Everybody else was out there shaking hands and was good, right? It's just Watford cannot shut his trap.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling Halliburton was playing along.
I mean,
He's not one
allowed
to shy
talk.
back from the.
He wasn't shied away from
chatter.
the talk. Also, the other time Nembhard got thrown out this week was that was in the Brooklyn game.
Yeah.
And
Watford also involved.
yeah, he just basically hooked. Watford hooked his arm, right? And then just hooked in Nembhard's arm, and then like just pretended he was fouled. And Nembhard was like, "This is ridiculous. This is stupid," and would not stop telling the ref that until he got tossed. It was pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he got his money's worth,
Yeah, I'm sure he did too.
which I think was a lot of money. I'm pretty sure there were fines handed out after that first game.
There were indeed. I don't have the details of that, but there definitely were.
Guys are feisty.
Oh, the other guy I wanted to give a shout out to go back to that Minnesota game was Tony Bradley, who's a dude that I wasn't even aware was on our roster. And then he was checked into the game and went ahead and scored 12 points and grabbed 9 rebounds, including 5 offensive rebounds. Where's Tony Bradley been all my life? Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the killer season Thomas Bryant is having, that guy'd be a rotation player.
No doubt.
Yeah, Thomas Bryant is incredible.
He's playing a really good ball right now. He looks.
Yeah,
I mean, he only goes 1-7 from 3 in this Timberwolves game, but he's been shooting it with confidence. It looks good, and if he can be as stalwart in the paint as he consistently is and throw down a couple threes for us, man. He's got a job. Good find.
Right? Quentin Jackson getting a ton of minutes.
And looking so confident. Like,
yeah.
The way he's playing now compared to where he was in his spot minutes, in the first third of the season, it's night and day. Like, he's not rushing. He knows what he can do. He does his thing. Very impressive. And I would be remiss if I didn't give my boy Ben Mathurin a ton of love. Like, the way this guy has been playing the last few games is just awesome. Like, I think he had like a 16-point fourth quarter against Minnesota, hit the 3 free throws to send it into overtime in the first Brooklyn game. Just killing it.
Well, and defensively too. I mean, I'm just watching him on the defensive end. He's so engaged, which is, the guy just is such a competitor.
And this is after going through a stretch where he was really struggling. I think maybe it was. There's been so many games since the last time we talked. There was a couple games where he did had 5 and 6 or whatever in consecutive games, and everybody was kind of wondering what was going on. And then, well, he can still score. He can still get a bucket.
Yeah.
So let's take a step back and you mentioned some reticence, Colson, or some concern as to where this team is relative to the playoffs. And we are now, what are we, 1, 2, 3 weeks of basketball away from the playoffs. 12 games, I think, in total. How are you feeling about things?
So I'm looking at the rest of the schedule and I'm going, we're not going to, I think we're probably going to lose 5 games, right? 48 win season's a nice season. We won 47 last year. Last year we were playing really good ball going into the playoffs. This year we played really good ball in January. And we seem to kind of have lost a little bit of focus, a little bit of something. We're down in rebounds and we're up in turnovers are the 2 major differences. And shooting percentage, but that comes and goes. But that's effort and concentration, those 2 things, which concerns me. You're right. A lot of that has to do without, we're without Halliburton for a lot of this month. And he is the engine that gets this thing going. But Pascal seemed run down a little bit to me. I feel like that guy needs a night off. I thought that's what coaching staff was doing at Minnesota. They're like, look, we're in Minnesota. We're going to lose this game. Let's just sit everybody. And then we just got to, they were kind of throwing the game away. And we got a bonus win, which is fantastic. I assume we can beat the Wizards and Charlotte and the Jazz. I think the Cavs are probably where they're going to be, and so you can pick off at least one of those 2 games at the end. But I have real concerns about the level we're playing right now, whether we can beat the Lakers. Pretty sure we can't beat Oklahoma in Oklahoma. And so I think what that looks like is we're probably going to be in the 4-5 seed and potentially in that 5 seed, which is not what we wanted. We wanted to get 50 wins and we wanted to have home court. Fourth seed's still a possibility, but I think 3rd is out of reach.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, we have 12 games left, and 8 of them are at home. And
yeah,
we're a pretty good home team this year. What are we? 23-9 at home.
If we go
not that great on the road.
9-3 and get 50 wins, I would be a very happy man, and I think we might be able to get the 3 seed. I just don't think it's going to happen.
So 4, 5, and 6 are in the mixer with us, Milwaukee, and Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit has the toughest remaining strength of schedule of those 3 teams. Of the 10 games they have remaining, the strength of schedule is a 586. including their final two against Milwaukee. They've got Milwaukee has at Detroit and then home against Detroit on the 11th and the 13th. So very well could have playoff seeding riding on one of those two games. Our strength of schedule is kind of right in the middle of the pack, just over 500. Stupid Milwaukee's is 22nd right now. They've got the Sixers. They got the Pelicans twice. They've got Phoenix twice. So they've got a good chance to move up. We're gonna have to win some tough ones for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because I think the we could go into this playoffs again being in the 6th seed like we were last year. I just was hoping with keeping the entire team together, a year of development, a slightly healthier year than last year, that we would improve in our record and in our standings. You know, I think we're going to be a tough out in the playoffs, but you know, I was hoping for a step forward instead of sort of status quo.
I mean, this looks all the world like a 4-5 matchup with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And you'd love to have home court advantage in that.
Yeah.
And, you know, Colson, like, technically,
we can win without it.
If we let's say we go 8-4 down the stretch, that's 49 wins. That's an improvement. It's a tick up. It's not a huge improvement. And we went from being the 6th seed to the 4 or 5 seed. Like, I mean, that's not nothing.
But I mean, you know, the Pistons still could. I mean, we have to play well, is what I'm saying. And I feel like we're not playing that well. We're playing well in the clutch. Is what we're doing. Most of these games could have gone either way. And
I mean, we built up big leads. We played well for stretches.
Sure, and we're down 20 points in some of these games.
And then we scored 2 points in 6.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. And that's...
We're playing pretty inconsistent ball, is what I'm saying. And I'm really glad that we're 7-4 instead of, you know, something else worse than that. But I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer here, because this has been a really fun week of basketball. It's been really exciting. But we're not...
incredible.
But we should be beating the Brooklyn Nets of the world instead of eking these things out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a win's a win's a win.
Yeah, I mean, in the standings, it is for sure.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you know, there's still 3 weeks left before the playoffs, so time to get a rhythm, and hopefully a healthy Tyrese Halliburton for a few games, and like you said, hopefully get Siakam. I agree, Siakam looks like he could use a day at the spa for sure, but yeah, and the way Obi Toppin's playing, why not just give him a night off?
Right, exactly.
So yeah, we'll see. Okay.
Well,
and Harper, and where are you at? You are feeling good about where we're at, or you have similar concerns, or different concerns?
I mean, looking back over the season, you know, I thought we were just going to flush this thing. I was this close to arguing for tanking at one point this season. And it has taken a long time to really get our feet underneath us and get healthy and settle into these rotations. We're playing right now the best ball that we have this year. You know, it's been good enough to log some wins. Obviously, we're still struggling with inconsistency, but we have 3 weeks to get it worked out. You don't want to be playing your best basketball in February or really even March. I expect these guys to settle in, and I'm very optimistic that because they compete hard, because we've made such improvements on the defensive end, that once we have consistency of lineups, that we're gonna be really tough to beat here in 3 weeks.
I do agree with you that the thing that makes this, that gives us a better chance than last year, is our improvement on the defensive end, and that's been real. And you know, if we can hold that together when stuff gets, if we can, because we know we can score even against really tough defenses. If we can hold the defense together once this playoffs intensity cranks up, then We're in pretty good shape. The Knicks are kind of a mess right now. I mean, it's possible we could still catch them. And then you're playing the Pistons instead of the Bucks. If those things hold, is that better? I don't know. Also, if you get the third seed, you'd play the Celtics in the second round instead of the Cavs in the second round. Like, all of that doesn't matter, right? It's all of it sounds hard.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to go in and play good basketball.
I mean, potentially the Knicks could hold on. We could drop to 6 and we could end up with a 3-6 with the Knicks, which, now that Thibodeau has broken this team,
right?
Might not
which
be
he always
worst,
does near the end of the season.
Always does eventually. Might not be the worst matchup in the world either.
Right. Okay. And we're definitely out of the play-in.
It may just end up looking just like it did last year. We got to go play Milwaukee. Then we'll have to play New York.
The Knicks, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm excited to see this team in a playoff atmosphere, for sure. I'm kind of excited to play the Bucks again, even and hope they have a healthy Giannis, just to see how we stack up. I don't have any idea that we're going to make a run for the championship this year, so it's, in my mind, it's still about developing playoff chops and figuring out who you can trust in a playoff game. And we have a handful of guys that we know we can trust, and Ben Mathurin hasn't gotten any playoff experience, so
right.
Let's get him some playoff experience. I kind of have a sense that he is not going to be afraid of the moment. What did he say the other day? He was just like, I love pressure. This is what I'm built for. Like, the guy does not lack confidence. So, all right. Let's do you had a stat of the week for us, Colson?
Joey, stat of the week!
Yeah, I do. Actually, it's sort of going to be connected to a boomerang as well. We want to do a double stat of the week / boomerang.
Nice, let's do it.
So, my stat of the week is that against the Nets, Tyrese Halliburton had a double-double, which was his 10th double-double in a row, which, as far as I can tell, is a franchise record for double-doubles in a row, which really surprised me because I thought maybe Domantas Sabonis had done that before. And so I did some checking, and I couldn't find anything. But I did come across what I think will be a fun boomerang, real brief. So move from that jingle to this jingle.
A bango ain't your baby. Okay.
So while I was trying to find most double-doubles in a row for the Pacers, I came across the most triple-doubles in franchise history. And there's a lot of guys stuck on 6. So I'm just going to go on the top 5 triple-double getters as a Pacer in franchise history. Start with you, Harper.
Top 5 triple-double getters. Is there Jalen Rose on there?
There is not a Jalen Rose.
Jalen, buddy.
No. He's not even number 6, tied at 2. Okay. Jason.
Sabonis?
Sabonis, number 1 with 18 triple-doubles.
Wow.
Harper, since there's only 5, you want to get another guess?
Mark Jackson?
Mark Jackson, number 5, well done, with 4 triple-doubles. Jason.
Halliburton?
Halliburton, no, not on the list. Harper, who would Joey guess?
He would definitely guess and dance to Lance.
Lance Stevenson, number 3.
Really?
Yeah.
So
with
no
5.
Jalen, but we got Lance up in here.
That's right. And then these two names are old.
Jermaine O'Neal?
No, these two names are old school. We were alive then, but been a long time ago.
Clark Kellogg.
How about a Vern Fleming?
Oh, Vern.
Burn.
And maybe a guy who sent us a message.
Detlef.
Detlef Schrempf.
Oh, nice.
That's right. So your top 5, Domantas Sabonis, Detlef Schrempf, Vern Fleming, Lance Stevenson, and Mark Jackson.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's amazing how hard it used to be to get triple doubles, I guess. Because we don't have very many guys that have done it. TJ McConnell has 2, Paul George has 2, Chuck Person has 2, and Jamal Tinsley has 2.
Right on.
I'm assuming Reggie never got one.
Nah. Didn't pass enough. Or rebound.
Or rebound enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he's the franchise leader in both, right?
Right, he is. Stick around long enough.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for letting me do my stat and my boomerang.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Anytime. All right. 4 games of basketball coming up for the Pacers this week. Monday night, hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves, who will be out for blood. Wednesday, hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. That's an ESPN game, of course, because it's the Lakers. Back-to-back Thursday at Washington. I will be in the building, and the bartender will be in the building.
What?
And then, what is that, Saturday at Oklahoma City.
Against the MVP.
Against the likely MVP and the currently 58-win Oklahoma City Thunder.
I mean, they're just on a tear, too. I mean,
Hey, they've lost one of their last 10.
okay, to the Nuggets.
They are 30 and 5
MVP.
at home.
To the other MVP.
So it's
They're 35 and 5, you said?
They are 30 and 5.
Oh, 30 and 5.
3-0 and
Yeah.
5 at home.
27 and 7
beaten.
on the road. It's incredibly good.
Yeah, they just had a huge win at Boston, at Detroit, and at Milwaukee on the road. So they don't really care about the East
They
much.
beat us
do
earlier
they?
in the year, but we played them pretty tough.
We did.
say.
I remember that. Yeah.
All right, what are you guys predicting for this 4-game
Boy.
week?
It's a lot of games.
I'm feeling a 2-2 here, personally.
Yeah. I was thinking 2-2, but it's getting to the point where with a 12.5 game lead in the West, maybe OKC can take their foot off the gas a little bit.
Okay.
I did not
Sure,
see
rest
them
some
with
guys.
a 12.5 game lead this season, and a tough one. That is incredible. I'll take 3-1. We've been playing guys tough. It's gonna be tough to pick Minnesota off again, but
Yeah, they're definitely pissed off. And Lakers got.
they haven't seen this team. They saw the Mad Ants.
That's right.
Yeah, good call. Actually, if we start losing, we just pull the starters and it'll be fine. Lakers got back Hachimura and LeBron James, and then they lost to the Bulls by 40, I think. It was like 147 to 115 or something. So
it's going well over there.
Yeah, so I assume they'll be angry and probably want to beat us. I don't know. Let's go. I'll take 1-3. I'm the one who's down on this team. I'll take it.
Well, we'll be able to cheer them to a victory in Washington.
Oh yeah, that's the win for sure.
So they got that one.
Harper, you mentioned they have a 12 league game lead in the West. They only have a 1 game lead on the Cavs, who for the best record in the NBA. The Cavs are playing fantastic basketball as well right now.
Yeah.
So they might keep playing because they, to see who gets the best record in the NBA for the finals matchup.
Yeah. Well, Cleveland's going to have to to keep playing. I just, I did not think that the West was going to be more lopsided than the East this year. It's been been a weird year, just saying.
Right.
And the Celtics are hot now. They're 9-1 in their last 10 and just 5 games back. So they're going to make a push. So Cleveland ain't going to get a chance to rest. That's for sure.
That's true.
Well, the Rockets have won 9 straight. What the hell?
Yeah.
Wild.
They've won since we beat them, I think. Is that right?
That seems to be the case.
Yeah.
Good job, us.
Well, and the Wolves are really good. They're 8-2 out of their last 10. We beat them with our C team, but they're a great team, and they're in the 8th seed. So
yeah, with 41 wins, just like us, right?
It's wild. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting 3 weeks to see see how the playoffs shake out for these teams, because there's a lot yet to be decided out there.
Yeah, and I think the top 8 in the West are all really good basketball teams. That's going to be a lot of fun, and the top 6 teams in the East are all very good.
I mean, arguably the Kings are pretty good too.
Yeah, the Suns are trash though.
The Suns are trash for some reason. I think it's because Bradley Beal, but they definitely
so
are
bad.
trash.
Yeah, they came down with a case of the Beals. And, that'll get you.
Yeah, he's
Untreatable.
He's unmovable, so it is untreatable.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Thank you, fans, for listening. You can find us many places until the next time you hear our voice. We're on Twitter at Undebeatables, on X at Undebeatables, Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables. You can email us, shoutout@TheUndebeatables.com. And we have a website, TheUndebeatables.com, and there is a contact form there. And whilst you are there, head over to the store page and get yourself some merch.
Oh, before I forget, shout out to Maya Turner, Miles' sister, who had some sort of medical condition on the court. They had to take her off on a stretcher. The Brooklyn game. Apparently she's okay. Miles Turner went ahead and put up one of his best games of the year after that. So hope everybody's doing all right over there. So for the architect, Donnie Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Leonard. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
All right.
Tough start, strong finish.
Yep.
Just like our squad.
Just like our squad. That's right. We might give up a 20-point lead, but we can still somehow pull it out.
Yeah.
Pull it
We
out.
might have a 20-point lead, but we'll still make it interesting in the end.
They're doing it for the ratings. I think I'm just gonna quit my job to watch that Lakers game. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
No, I'll be with you.
Seems like an overreaction.
I'll be in DC with you when that comes.
That's right.
So,
Yes, you will.
2 games.
Two.
Weird, wild stuff.